Welcome to the PowerCollab April edition in the Power Platform Learner Series. In this comprehensive series, you will discover a curated, collected collection of the expert discussions and the deep dives into the world of dataverse, Dynamics CRM, Power Platform, as well as the Microsoft Copilot. Whether you are a seasoned professional or a curious newcomer, the series offers a valuable insight into these powerful tools. Learn from the industry leaders as they share their knowledge and experience, explore advanced features, and provide, the tips and tricks to help you maximizing your use of this platform. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay updated as we continue to add more content there. Today, we are going to talk a bit more on the Microsoft Business Applications launch update, some hidden gems, and let's quickly check the agenda. We will start with the feature highlights, especially from the Power Platform area, that what all the highlights from the launch event. Then we will also touch some of the pricing changes. Probably you are already aware about that, but I will just quickly highlight that one. Then Bluent is going to talk about the Copilot Studio, multilingual support, translation, and everything around that one. And then Millard is going to talk about the environment routing. Then, as I always mention, you will always get some of the value additions from Myers and Michael as well there. Let's talk about some of the feature highlights in the Power Platform, especially what is probably my favorite one. And as you know that in this month, the beginning of the month, Microsoft come up with the tagline of redefine what possible with the AI, which was the biggest highlight for the Microsoft Business Application launch event. Let's see how. So if you can see that Copilot Studio, all the AI things. So it's already on the top of the AI. You can build and use the custom GPTs there or GPT models. You can fully update the conversational user experience, as well as you can enhance all of the extreme from the knowledge hubs there. When we talk about the Power Pages, then the first thing you see, the site Copilot support allow the users to get Copilot responses grounded in the data that they have access to. And this is the role-based access there. No code virtual table connections to the Salesforce and the Oracle has been already announced. I will cover some points related with the Salesforce today because the preview is already out. And then securely, Workspace allow makers to fully secure all the aspects to their website with the tailored experience. Not only this, in the Automate as well, like there's a breakthrough progress to the bottlenecks with the Copilot insight and the recommendation. You can build complex, multi-turn cloud flows automations in minimum with the Copilot, as well as easily create the desktop flows with the natural language with the Copilots. Power BI is again, all of these new features and the highlights are coming around the Copilot. You can see, you can summarize your data with the Copilot. You can create the report pages with the Copilot. And then on the top of that, you can do the data Q&A with the Copilot itself. Power Apps is also not untouched with the Copilot things. Like out of these three, two directly from the Copilot and one is again the AI capabilities. So the first highlight from the Power Apps here, you can create and beautiful modern apps with the data using the Copilot, intelligent apps powered by the Copilots, and as well as you can govern the AI capabilities with the ease using all of this low code, no code features plus the Copilot there. Now, the another important topic which I would like to discuss with you today is the pricing for the Microsoft 365. So basically, Microsoft announced the first pricing update for Microsoft Dynamics 365 is more than after 5 years after the last change, which will be effective from the October 2024. Also, please note this, all the price per user per month, or you can say per device per month where it is noted. Prices, what you can see here, it's just for the information purpose only and may not be reflective as an actual list price due to currency, country, reasons, and the variant factors there. Please contact a Microsoft sales representative for the additional information on the pricing. Also, please note the pricing per user per month will increase approximately by $15 in all the tiers Microsoft relationship sales. So example, only 10 from 10 to 99 user tier shown here for the simplicity. And you can just simply see the enterprise from 95 to 105. If you can see about the field services is around again 95 to 105, commerce 180 to 210. So it's almost around $15 changed or increased, and which will be effective from the October or the beginning of the October. So always calculate your all of the expenses charges accordingly. Now summarize document into the FAQ pages or FAQ web pages using the Power Pages Design Studio Copilot. So please note this feature is available in the preview for US region only for all of the Power Pages customers there. It's not available into the other regions. And as Power Pages has become popular for the website building, one common use case we see very often is to build web pages which provide the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, contents about the certain topics, example, for about new product launch. FAQs web pages are published by the organizations to the highlights key information for their end users. So these process can be sometimes cumbersome, especially when the source content is very large and can require the multiple iteration to identify the right set of the content to be included as an FAQ. However, with the advent of the generative AI and its ability to manipulate the content into the various form, generating FAQs is one of those processes where we can see amazing productivity gains. Hence, in order to improve the productivity of the makers, Microsoft launched a new skills of the Power Pages Design Studio Copilot, basically which will allow the makers to generate the FAQs style web pages just by providing a link to the document as an input. These skills allow makers to provide the link to a Word document uploaded to the SharePoint or the OneDrive for the business, or let's Copilot automatically generate the FAQs. You can see, although the image or the videos are not that quality good, but we will definitely in the Power Pages quick tip series, we will come with a live demo for that one. So we will cover that part in the detail there. And so that was one. The another important aspect which I would like to highlight here, the new Salesforce virtual table data providers for the Microsoft Power Pages basically has started rolling out across regions and will be in the public preview in all the regions by the early May. So we have to just wait for a week and then it will be available. We already have some kind of the virtual table, how to use the virtual table within the Power Pages. I would say the live demo videos in the Power Pages quick tip series. So please go and check out that one. Our colleagues our members of this Power Platform Learner Group named Shweta, she already demonstrated that one. So just have a look for that video. Virtual table data providers, you can surface the data of the Salesforce object on the Power Pages website in the control and the secure manner. So CRUD operations are supported on the standard customized object. We have all the limitations and the restrictions of the Salesforce connectors that apply to the virtual tables data provider as well. And objects with the specialized business logic in the Salesforce sites might not work properly. All of the Power Pages features such as the forms, list, and the table permission can be used seamlessly with the Salesforce virtual table. In fact, Salesforce virtual table work across all of these products in the Power Platform family whenever virtual tables or wherever the virtual tables are supported. Now, in this particular note, I would quickly move to the next slide. And now I would like to ask Fluent to just talk about something on the Copilot Studio multilingual support. So over to you, Fluent.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the handover. So let me share my screen and hopefully you can see something.
Yes.
Yes. No. Good. That was the answer which I have expected. So awesome. Welcome, everyone. So let me just talk something about Copilot Studio. So Copilot Studio is currently a huge hype and everyone is just asking for it at the moment. So that's also something where you can just do, let's say, a lot of training at the moment. Whereas I have to say, while we're just here, sharing with you can change anytime. So MS Build is coming, and some MVPs in that call already may about what will come. So when hopefully it will be revealed then end of May, and there's a lot of things which coming and hopefully also coming out of preview. So today to be focusing on a feature which I've been asked since a few years when this tool was called Power Virtual Agent, and this is about languages. If you only operate in one language, no problem, for example, in English. But if it comes to the situation that you want to support several languages, then it's kind of tricky. It was possible with Power Virtual Agent that you have just built a topic and then ask in the beginning, which language do you prefer? Is it Spanish or is it English? And you just decide for one language and then you go with that. Changing that back that variable you just said was in a chat some kind of tricky and sometimes not possible. So if you wanted to change back because you accidentally click on Spanish, you're like, yeah, I'm not good in Spanish. I just found out with that chat, and you want to change back, so not possible. So in that case, what happens is with Copilot Studio introduced and Power Virtual Agent integrated into that, they finally also gave us the ability that we can change and make the language localization much easier. So the easiest way, I show you an easy way, and I show you a very geeky way, which maybe no one will use except me, but it's fun. So the easiest way is when you just have a chatbot like this. So hello there, and you can just talk with him. So how are you? Blah, blah. And then you're getting everything back again. So in this case, it doesn't know anything because of that, because I never have developed that kind of a top. So, but everything is in English. So now if you just go in here on the settings and on the languages, you click in here. Now you can add any language you just want. So in that case, I'm just adding additionally Dutch. No one of us speaks Dutch. That will make it much more fun, I guess. So now you can just go in here and click on the three dots and now go to this person. And usually what would happen is that would also be translated as well. But it doesn't happen at the moment because it's some kind of buggy. I use it over 4 weeks, and after this, obviously it doesn't work. But that should not be bothers. What you see is that everything else is being translated into Dutch in that case. So if you just turn that back into German, because majority in this here is German, so you can speak that hopefully, then you can just confirm, hey, that's German in that case. So that works for us. Good. So the idea is obviously, if you just now translate this, how does it work? So you see now this has been changed, by the way, a few days ago. It was different. You needed to click on the three dots, and now the three dots only say remove. You want to click on that upload button. Doesn't make any sense because you just need to first download something before you can upload something. But anyway, we keep it like that. So you just download a localization file, either in JSON or ResX. What kind of you preferable? I'm usually doing this all the time in JSON. And then once you just do this, you open this up, you translate. If you have Visual Studio Code, then you can just do this with a magic Copilot GitHub magic there, and you can translate that. And then you're just uploading back again. And then usually everything is in German or in Dutch, whatever is your preferred language. As you can see, you can just translate now up to that kind of languages, and then it can be a multi-language Copilot or a bot, which is great. The thing is that, and this is the use case, if you're using a service, using a service like, I don't know, ServiceNow or whatever ERP you're just using, and et cetera, if the responses are coming back in English and you have set it to German, then you will have a mix of, hey, das ist eine Nachricht, your order is shipped, deine Sache ist shipped. Does not work. So how can you just go with that? With a little coding in that case. So that means if you just go to that topic here, and I just have a topic working with Power Automate, what you're just doing is you need to first of all set the variable language. There's no way of how you can just do this PowerFX. At least I haven't found out. But if you have a million people watching this video in YouTube and can maybe just correct me and send me in a message then afterwards. How I can just do this. What I'm just doing is I'm setting a JSON, a pretty simple JSON file. And that JSON file is just nothing else. I'm setting a status, and then I'm just setting two values in that case. I've set it only for German and for things. I want to just very fast, I know. Just going, if it's in German, then it shall show verschickt. If it's in English, it shall show shipped. So I'm just making some JSON font. I will somewhere block this, and then it's easy to see. I'm just, fast forward, so as it's not also a chance. It just goes in here, it checks in the file, blah, blah, blah. So it just goes into powerautomate, which is super easy. It just opens and just sends just back a value. That's it. So let us try how that works. So let me just first of all go into English and then say EA as a trigger word. And you just ask a simple question. Do you want to see your status order? You say yes. He just returns something back and the order is shipped. Now, this will be a fun. If I just return now that to German, still everything is English. I haven't found out why, but demo situation. So if you just go in and just assume that now in German, if you just say PA as a trigger word again, usually it would now ask in German. Currently it doesn't do this. So if you say yes, at least now you get a mix of that. That means if this part here would be in German, then he would send this back in German well. So in that case, it will work. So it doesn't work with the translation thing. It's a little bit more of some geeky coding needed with PowerFX. And you can just do much more of that fun. From a maintenance perspective, it's horrible. But sometimes in our project, it can be maybe a requirement. So that's all what I can show you, at least 90 or 80%, correct? So in that case, I hand over to the next partner here.
Thank you so much, Fluent here. Was really amazing. Like, I would also try this translation stuff for sure. How and where probably I could find where it is a buggy or something, and try to come up with the knowledge sharing around that area. Before we go to the Milad, why not, Michael? You just share about some of the highlights, like what you are doing around the very hot topic governance. So yeah, we don't want to redo everything in this video, but if there is already something available, we should be aware about that one. And I should have stopped talking and you start speaking, probably. That would be better.
All right. Yes, I don't have any new tips or hints or technical features that I wanted to show today. Today, I want to engage in shameless self-promotion and would like to show something. And I have a horrible setup here. I would like to show something that a friend of mine and I are working on right now, because as you said, the governance topic and administration topic in Power Platform sometimes can be a little bit tedious and a little bit, well, it can be, or let's put it the other way around. I found out that Power Platform administrators are highly neglected species of people, actually. And if you work as a Power Platform administrator, it sometimes can get very hard to get support from the documentation, from the Microsoft side, or from any kind of community. Because not that many people are working as Power Platform administrators. And I expect that behavior to change in the near future, actually. But because of that, Craig White from the UK, aka Platforms of Power, and I decided to change that a bit and start a Power Platform admin series and in our blogs. And I wanted to show you this blog series and maybe the URL. I think I'm just going to put that into the video description, and hopefully you can see my screen right now.
Yes.
We have those. This whole series is called PPAC Attack. PPAC is short for Power Platform Admin Center. That is the abbreviation from Microsoft. So we decided to create a series, and Craig on the site platformsofpower.net/PPAC Attack was so kind to gather all the blogs and sort them from a different reader's perspective. Actually, we have some high-level blogs where we talk about administration, governance, and the Power Platform Admin Center. Then we have some special blogs around PowerShell, the COE starter kit, different environments. So what you can see, those are not only blogs from him and I. We already invited some co-authors, we like Lindsay Shelton, Matt Collins-Jones, Nazi Turtledorf, or Simon Owen. So we gathered basically blogs and ideas from people focusing around administration and governance and want to gather them here in this place. I on my blog only have my blogs uploaded so far. I think I will change that as well. I focus on the PowerShell part basically. So I have the last couple of blogs were around Power Platform administration in general. So what you need to know when you become an administrator and have never done that before, that is not only focusing on Power Platform, but in general. And then I start basically a PowerShell beginner's guide, where we really start to what is PowerShell, how can I use it, how can I open it, what kind of applications do we have, and how does coding work in the PowerShell. And I always try to do this with examples from the Power Platform administrator's life. So we have a few of those blogs have homework with them and challenges, so you can win some swag actually. So this is really guiding you from the very beginning to knowing the basics of PowerShell for your Power Platform administrator life. And we are basically looking for people who are working as Power Platform administrators or focusing on governance and maybe want to engage in some kind of community. Right now, we are just collecting people who are interested in this. We haven't done anything yet. I think after next month, after the European Power Platform Conference, we wanted to actively start the community. We already get some backup from Microsoft as well. And we will start an administrators community, I guess. So everyone who is working as that or is just interested is highly welcome. We will publish all the content around the social media, usually LinkedIn and Twitter. And yeah, so if you have the time and are interested, platforms of power.net/ppec-attack is at least Craig's one-stop shop that gathers all of our blogs at one place. And yeah, I think that could be of value for people.
For sure, Michael, for sure, because you can touch one of the component of the Power Platform, either Power Pages, Power BI, or Power Apps, but none of them can go without the admin or the governance or the monitoring something. So I'm pretty sure whatever you are doing, it's really valuable for the community, and you will get a lot of the people joining to the group and learning with all of the experts around the industry. So yeah, and on that note, I would continue our talk, and this time I would like to invite Milad here, because he has something in his bucket around streamline your governance and environment strategy. So over to you, Milad.
Yeah, thanks. So a fun fact, environment groups a bit, but now just quickly added something to the slides to also tell something about the environment routing feature. So let me just start with presenting my screen and also to start the player show. Okay, I guess everybody can see it now.
We can see.
Yeah, awesome. So let's start with the topic of environment groups. Also a very new feature, I guess. It is still in preview. So a lot of the people or a lot of Power Platform administrator might have seen it, because it is also very prominent in the admin center. So underneath the option of environments, you have the option for environment groups. Let me try to figure out what the idea is and also to explain what I think the idea is behind that feature. So we usually, or at least some companies, have an environment strategy or environment setup. Yeah, most likely looks like that you have, for example, for different departments, for several projects, or also for regions, and dev test prod structure, maybe a bit as the same which I showed the last time with the pipelines for the deployments, etc. And nevertheless, at the end, under one tenant, you have several dev test prod environments for the Power Platform. And with now the feature of environment groups, you can put them into one group and do the same settings applied to all of the three, for example. So I took the example, which is from Microsoft, the Contoso Australia, and set up a group called Australia, or Australia environments. And based on what you can see on the right, maybe I can also take the laser pointer. So based on what you can see here on the right side, these are the current settings you can do, or the current options you can set up for these environment groups. You might notice that these options are already available since a while now. Some of them are still in preview, some of them are not. And you might have seen that already in the tenant settings, for example, sharing controls. These are available for the managed environment settings, but something like usage insights or solution check enforcement. And you can set these options just for the group. And now it's, of course, you can see here multiple ideas. You can have multiple features or different strategies put in for these environments. So, for example, when we are talking about the maker welcome content, it's like a welcome message, which I'm showing on the next slide. But let's assume from the use case, you have an audience in Australia. You want to put a different welcome message as for the audience for Europe. Or even further, you can put in a welcome message for the audience of an HR department or a finance department. And this is maybe a neat feature. Of course, you also have the set the usage insight, so you can get a weekly digest about how your managed environment is behaving. You can also get an information about how many apps are shared with everyone. You can see how many apps have been created and get this information via email. Furthermore, you have the sharing controls for Canvas apps. And I'm coming to a use case soon, which is also a very neat feature for managed environments, because I think sharing is always a topic for makers, especially when you're looking into security and you don't like that someone is creating an app and sharing it with not with everyone maybe, because this can be blocked anyway, but with a large user group without any further configuration. You can set up the solution check enforcement so that it will always check the solution if there are any warnings or errors. You can create a backup retention, so up to 28 days. I will show that in the admin center as well. And also enable AI-generated descriptions. To the welcome message. This is an example from Microsoft where they said, yeah, welcome to control the Power Apps. And as said, when a maker is visiting the platform, they will see this this welcome message in this environment. It's maybe also up to the companies how they want to structure it, if they want to have always a different message for different departments or always the same, but just to highlight the feature which is also manageable with environment groups. Also turning on the environment, the AI generated descriptions, also a very neat feature or a nice feature which people can use. For example, they create an app and they don't want to put these descriptions by themselves, but then Microsoft and the AI features will create the description for you. And let's look into the use cases. As said, you can have different welcome messages. You can have also different backup retentions for important projects. You can have usage insights, of course, and also digested and separated for each department, region, or project. And one nice thing, and when we're looking a bit or thinking a bit further, you can also create an you can also put all your dev environments, for example, into one environment group and then limit sharing at least for Canvas apps. And then you can basically say, or you can basically limit the Canvas app so it's not being used productively. Because at the end, you're working on the same tenant, the data can be the same. And if you want to really have a dedicated dev environment and limit the capabilities of sharing, this might be a good feature. Of course, always managed environments, badly, but at the end also a nice feature if you are in use of managed environments. Then we are coming to the topic in Power Platform environment routing. Just sorry now because I just quickly added these slides, but let me explain something about the environment routing. So this is actually a copy of the first slide. So we have, let us imagine again the same environment structure. We have a dev test prod environment for regions, we have a dev test prod environment for departments, and we have dev test prod environments for projects. This is the, I guess, commonly used setup for the environments. And with environment routing, something different happens now, or there can be a different idea. Environment routing, if this option is enabled, every maker will get his own personal. When you're setting this up, you can already do this for existing makers. or you can also set this up also only for new makers. One remark, which is very important, the setting must be set for the developer environments, must be set to everyone. So at the end, you need to change the configuration in the tenant settings that everyone is able to create developer environments. And this might be now a huge problem for many customers or administrators, but just to let you know. And now if a user enters the platform, he will be directly redirected from the default environment to their personal dev environment. And if there is no personal dev environment, then a dev environment will be created for him. And that's why you need to have this option turned on so that everyone can create developer environments, because it's not like it's not kind of a user impersonation. It is he's creating his dev environment by his own. And then when we also look a bit further, now the maker is developing some stuff, and if he's a developer for the HR department or the finance department, for example, he can also, this is also a very new feature, create his own pipeline and select the environments which he has access to. And as you can see now here in the picture, you can have a finance deployment if you have access to both HR and finance, of course, and then you can set up create your solution and publish it or deploy it via the pipelines into the finance and HR departments, or the environments from the finance and HR departments. And maybe to put all together, we have multiple makers which are joining the platform, which are being redirected from the default environment to their personal dev environment. So we have, of course, for each maker a personal dev environment. Here you can put in some welcome messages or sharing limits or both. Yeah. For the dev environments, this means that the person who has his personal dev cannot share his solution with others, at least for Canvas apps. And then they can deploy everything with own pipelines to the HR or finance departments. Now it is, of course, for administrators, maybe here, Michael would, yeah, in German I would say, would sich im Grab umdrehen, oder wie man das so sagt. But I think it's a huge, well, it makes the life for an administrator a bit more stressful, I guess, from the first side. There are a lot of limitations at the moment. Also, when we are looking into environment groups, first of all, there are just 6 settings which you can set up for the environments. They are not highly impacted, so there are not so many features. And also with the environment routing, there is also an issue that you can only set it up for every maker or every new maker. You cannot tell, okay, I just want to have the makers from a security group A, which let's be considered as a pro dev, which might, which for them it's fine to have a personal dev environment, and to exclude, let's say, a group of citizen developer. So here you can see the environment routing. As said, sadly, you can only select all makers or new makers only. You can also put them directly into the group. Now I just don't have the dev environments group, but at least the HR environments. And yeah, you can also put in a security group where you want to restrict the sharing capabilities. Yeah, that's about environment routing. Maybe there will be some new features upcoming in the future. And for the environment group settings, as said, you have here your HR environments where you can set up these rules, as said, sharing limits for Canvas apps. You can put in exclude sharing with security groups, and you can restrict the sharing of Canvas apps to up to 1 person. You can set up usage insights to have this, to include insights from this managed environments in this group into the weekly digest. You can set up different welcome messages. So basically this code-ish looking like text is basically the one which I was showing in the slides. And yeah, okay, let's go through everything. Solution check enforcement. If you are getting blocked, if your solution is not free of errors, you can have the backup retention up to 28 days, as said, and also the AI feature disabled or not. And yeah, that's it regarding these two topics.
Thank you so much, Millard. Really interesting. And now, without further ado, stage is yours. So,
Okay.
what you are gonna share with us today?
Yeah, the big surprise now. I have a little one from my blog, which I thought would nicely pair up. So in March, I investigated business rules and auto numbers a little bit, and I will spare you the whole 5-minute article. I will just tell you auto number fields are calculated before the pre-validation stage, and business rules are calculated before the pre-operation. And together with the Dataverse Accelerator app, let me close this, with the Dataverse Accelerator app, Jürgen showed us. So here you can create plugins. So an automated plugin here, for example, on the account table, and we can set this to pre-operation and then work with the values of, for example, an auto number field, and we want to extend the field with something that auto number does not support on by default. So we calculate it here in the expression and set it to the field that is possible in the pre-operation, which is very efficient way of calculating it. So with this low code option and the no code options of business rules and auto numbers, you can combine both technologies to get more out of your dataverse. And that's already it. So.
Yeah, then thanks a lot for just really insightful information. And yeah, without further ado, let's go to the end. And thank you to to our wonderful audience and all of the members here. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more exciting updates and the valuable insight and features, and do share with your teammates and the friends. And on that note, thank you again to all of the presenters today, all of the participants, and whoever is watching the videos on the YouTube channel. Thanks a lot and have a nice day ahead. Have a nice evening and happy learning. Thank you.